This episode of the Fire Alarm Insider is proudly brought to you by Secured Securities, your trusted partner in fire alarm and security solutions, protecting lives and businesses one system at a time. Today we're going to talk about how we program our fire alarm systems. Programming decides how your system thinks and how it reacts to danger. A fire alarm only does what you tell it to do, nothing more and nothing less. To understand how programming works is simply correlating inputs with outputs behind some logics or some zones and functions. Depending on the type of system you're working with, you're actually going to be writing rules, you're going to be writing custom controls, or you're going to be matching up correlations, inputs with outputs. So depending on the type of system will depend on how you would actually write the program for your fire alarm system. So the workflow is very simple. We'll take a set of drawings. We'll look at the sequence of operations because that will tell us the output function for each and every device type that we have to program inside of the system. Whether it be an area smoke detector or an elevator lobby smoke detector, they're going to give us instructions on how to activate the output functions, whether it be elevator shutdown, fan shutdown, purge control, exhaust fan turn on, whatever the output functions that need to happen. Your programmer will be able to program that inside of their fire alarm control configuration utility, depending on the system. It could be a simplex system, a notifier system, or an Edwards system. Whomever that programmer is, they should know the language of their system to write whatever programming functions they need to have for the inputs and outputs to match and work together. You must be clear on your device labels, your device messaging, because you don't want to send the fire department or anyone who's maintaining that system in the wrong direction. You want to have clear labels. You want to identify exactly where the device is located as best of your description as possible to get the person in that exact location every time they need to get there. And if ever you have to remove or relocate that device, that description also must be changed. And if you have a network system, everybody on that system needs to know. When I say everybody, I mean all the CPUs. This episode of the Fire Alarm Insider is sponsored by the Fire Alarm Business Blueprint. If you're a seasoned technician looking to start your own fire alarm business, we have a 9-step course for you to take you from starting your business to getting your fire alarm license, marketing, and also getting money into your business. If this sounds like you, the link is in the show notes. Let's get back to the program. So there may come a time where you have to rewrite a software. You may have to rewrite programming language. You may have to rewrite it from scratch. You may not only just do it from the installation aspect of it, you may have to write a network system as we did for one of our clients. It was a 7-node system. It was actually a kiddie system, a VM1 system, all 7 panels connected together. One system had a voice in it, and this system had to be rewritten from scratch. It was over 1,000 smoke detectors, input modules, horn strobes. It was a bunch of things on it. It took me a couple days to actually rewrite this system. And the easy way for us to do it when it comes to a kiddie system or an Edwards system, the quickest way to do it, if you have voice, I don't know no system that you can upload voice, but what you would have to do is just unplug some things and just start copying some labels, taking pictures or videos, whatever you have to do, so that way you can get those messages correctly, especially test the system so you can actually see the functions, so that way you know what you need to turn on in the case of the emergency. Or if there's a speaker system, you want to know what amps you need to turn on, what messages and things like that. So as I'm rewriting this system, I have to upload all of the loop. So as I upload the loop, I at least, if everything is connected, I at least have all of the devices that's connected to each and every panel. So the next thing for me is to type in all of the messages. So either I will go through the prints, I will either disconnect all the loops, so that way I can scroll through the menu and take a video, see what the address is to the message, and just completely do that. And once I have that, or if they have a printer, which would be great, if they have a printer, you could print everything out to the printer, take that printed copy, and then complete all your messages. Or the final thing after that, you could connect your laptop to it, and a notepad, connect to the CPU, and then transfer all that information to your desktop, so that way you have all the messages. So there's plenty of ways you can do it. The quickest way for me, really, I just take my phone, put it on video, and I'll scroll through the menu as quickly as possible. Then I'll take that information and then I'll just write down all of the messages inside of the programmer. I type pretty fast so I can get it done pretty quickly. Then the rules after that, I have to now write the rules. I have to align my inputs with my outputs. I have to activate certain things. So in order for me to know how the system operates, I literally have to do 100% test and then just start writing how things is actually operating within the system. How this building operate with this building, if this building is sending messages over to this building, or all of these buildings are sending messages to one building, whatever the functions in operation is, I need to exactly mimic that the same entire way. So rewriting the software can be very difficult at times, rather than actually putting a system in that you can follow from scratch. So you can do both. If you're a programmer, you could actually work your way up to that by staying in the fire alarm industry, by doing complex jobs, by going through and facing those tough challenges, but not by not turning anything away, because everything is beneficial when it comes to you being a technician in the fire alarm industry. So any challenges you face, make sure you go through it. Ask questions. If you can't get help, always call tech support. Tech support is there to help you. Don't be afraid to reach out and call that 800 number, sit on the phone for a few hours and ask them all of the questions you need. So a fire alarm system only performs as clearly as it is programmed. So if you have a good programmer, you're going to have a good fire alarm system. If you have a shaky programmer, you're going to have a shaky fire alarm system. So always advance yourself. Try to always learn more. Look at other programs, take other programs, copy them down, decipher them, and see how other buildings is actually programmed. So a lot of times you really just repeating the process, sometimes adding and tweaking a few things here and there. So if you found this episode helpful and you know someone who's trying to get into the fire alarm industry, I want you to share this episode with them so they can understand how to speak logic clearly in code as well as in life. This episode of the Fire Alarm Insight is brought to you by Secured Security. Secured Securities presents you the perfect fire alarm install, from inception all the way down to installation to the one-time pass inspection with the fire department. If you're looking for the perfect install, click the link in the show notes to talk more, because I want them to learn how to speak logic clearly in code and in life, because clarity creates confidence. I'm the fire alarm expert. I'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.